Basically, the rule of thumb here is if you...
Wait, rule of thumb? In the early 1900s, it was legal for men to beat their wives.
Dot Marie, this large woman right here, like the tattoo on her neck. People sometimes ask me what did it say, and her tattoo says "untouched by man" because she's a bull, militant lesbian.
I knew you two pricks would give me problems.
Come on, it's St. Patty's Day. It's all in good fun.
Nah, fuck you, and fuck you too.
We're sorry, all right? It's just...
And my mother is actually behind Sean in that scene when he goes down. She came to set, threw a bloody jacket on her. Got Mom in there. And I had the boys living in a legal loft here, one of these places that looks like it's upstairs of a warehouse or something like that. My brother and I lived in a very similar place, real rat hole. There's my guy, Adam Kane, the director of photography. I think he's one of the few geniuses in the business, and he sets stuff up. I mean, it's like, when these guys, because it's all art that you work with, these are all artists, but they have to understand finance, and you don't have time. We had to shoot this thing in 32 days, and there's just not time for these artsy light setups all the time yet. Look, look how colorful it is. Look what a great job he did.
Hey, fuck ass, give me a beer.
There's The Rock. That man right there is David Delarocco, a dear friend of mine. Used to work at the bar with me and my brother. And while I was writing the script, I just liked his personality so much, I wrote him in.
I've got some very bad news.
He came to L.A. to be an actor, I guess, about 15 years ago and gave it up. But I convinced him to come back.
Including this one. Fuck! Ass!
There's Doc. That's Tourette syndrome he's got. That was me, by the way. The guy in the overalls there in the previous shot.
Hey, listen, fellas, I don't want anyone to know, so you keep your...
There I am again. Quite fetching. Yeah, put me and my brother in this shot and a bunch of my friends. That guy at the end of the bar with the do-rag on's a buddy of mine named Darren Yacovetta. Took his name for the crime boss, the ultimate evil guy there. Not that Darren's a bad guy, one of my best friends.
And don't cross the road if you can't get out of the kitchen.
And I like this three-shot stuff that we're doing right here with these guys, a lot of times at bars late at night, the ones that I've worked in anyway, it becomes more of a jovial atmosphere. Here's the big boy, Scotty Griffith, a buddy of mine for a long time, 6'7", 350 pounds of Scott Griffith. He is an American, but he does this Russian accent, and he's always been just a guy that, could get the accents down. Big, imposing-looking guy, but gentle as hell.
Why don't you make like a tree? And get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, when I was writing it, I wrote Doc's character as a guy that gets all those proverbs mixed up. Just thought it'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's St. Patty's Day. Everyone's Irish tonight. Why don't you just pull up a stool and have a drink with us?
This is no game. If you won't go, we will make you go.
And there is a shameless plug for me. This guy right here, Bob Marley, friend of mine, Tommy Shabbat, took me to see him perform at the Laugh Factory. He's a stand-up comic. Been on the Leno Show a bunch and all these other things. Makes a living at it, good living. Cracked me up so much, and I knew I needed a guy to oppose Willem here, because Greenlee, his character, is kind of the dingbat of the script, and Willem's a guy that's got it all figured out. So I needed somebody for Willem to punk out during the film, so we're going to see exactly how he does that. I had all this rock music playing. Man, I remember I had When the Levee Breaks by Zeppelin playing there before. I thought it was kind of cool, but yeah, I think they wanted like $17 million for me to use 30 seconds of that song, so needless to say, that was out of there.
Okay, all right. Say these two guys right here, they don't even know the fucking huge guy. They're just staggering home from a bar still all fucked up from St. Patty's last night.
I really like this guy who was doing our Steadicam this day, you know. I told him to kind of wander through this scene. It's going to become more prevalent a little bit later. But when you give an artist, I think, sometimes, you know, some latitude and just kind of take it into consideration that they've done this a lot, whereas you haven't, you know, and I'm sure that there's always I always ask these guys, you know, what are the things that you want to do? What have you always wanted to try that maybe a director hasn't really let you, you know? So he was talking to me about it, and he said, geez, Troy, I always like to, you know, wander through a scene like this and catch all the action, almost like some ghost is walking through, and that's going to come up a little bit later, but this is where he begins to experiment with it. Great Steadicam guy.
Surprised to see a lot of these turning up. Brilliant. So now we got a huge guy theory and a serial crusher theory. Top notch. What's your name? Detective Greenlee. Who the fuck are you? That's who the fuck I am.
Yeah, I wanted Willem's character to be instantly at odds with the Boston Police Department. You know, coming in saying I'm smarter than everybody, I'm better looking, I'm better dressed, hold my coat, go get me a cup of coffee, and, you know, let Daddy do his work.
Why don't you get me a cup of coffee?
Who the hell is it?
Cafe latte.
What the
Twist
fuck?
of lemon.
Chief, what the fuck is this?
Sweet and low.
And there's Punk Out #1. We really had fun with this. And Willem is that kind of a guy. I remember when he and I first met to talk about this. I believe I'm the first-time director he's ever worked with. At least that's what I was told. And I remember when we met, I just witnessed him on stage blow these 200 people out of his theater at the Worcester Group in Soho, New York, and we sat down and talked about it, and it became pretty quick. It became like two kids in a sandbox, you know, building a castle. He was like, oh, I could do this, and this. And I said, yeah, that way we can pick it up and do this, and I can add this. And it just, you know, it became like two children. And end of the dinner, he said, yeah, I'm doing it. And I said, great. And we hugged, and I got on a plane, went back to L.A., and we had our guy. And he's such a wonderful actor that I was on cloud nine. Now here's my Steadicam guy starting to sweep through this and starting to pick up little things. It's kind of got a floaty little feel to it. And I wanted, you know, when Willem plays the opera music in his ears like that, it's sort of an attempt by me to bring in the audience into his world, to suck everybody into his stuff rather than just watching a guy go through a crime scene. And when he was conducting, yeah, we had shot this shot from the front. This ended up being one of my favorite shots of the whole movie, him from behind there. And I just felt that it looked much better from behind and more graceful. And he finds the bullet hole right there and puts it all together in that instant. And this was his idea here, to start to fall out of his world and back into reality.